Hello the channel, welcome back everyone. Back on my own channel after I've been on Saturday afternoon with Quinny, and thankfully a wee bit more sober as well. So lots of stuff happening this week, loads to get through. So just a general run order here. So firstly, when we look at what's happened this weekend, David Footy I obviously picked some limited lineups and have a wee look at my own lineups as well, see how we've been getting on coming up to midweek game week as well. So we've got competition winner number two as well. So obviously picking midweek and then the weekend as well. Feels like loads happening as well. We've got the EPL coming back this weekend, which is great. It was good to see like the championship and everything back this weekend as well. So really good. And then at the end, after we've done the lineup building, I'd like to just do a wee debrief of how Celtic played as well. Again, we did do that with Quinny on Saturday afternoon. But if you missed that, or you just couldn't understand me because I'd had 7 cans of Guinness, then we'll go through it sober in a bit more detail. So in terms of what's been happening this weekend, this one's a beauty. Messi, obviously. What can you say about the man? 100, 90, 100. He's outrageous. So good. We'll debrief Celtic separately. Matt O'Reilly obviously played really well, and Furu as well. So that's lovely. That's on for a tier one and some Ethereum as well. All-Star Unique, we fell short. Don't think this will hold for a card. So a couple of issues here, obviously. So really good captain, really good from Furu, but Larson started in the bench and, the defence never really scored very well, unfortunately. See if we can expand this. So, David, really nice selection here for second division Europe. Watford looked really good, to be honest. I don't know how much of that's just QPR or how much of it's Watford, but they could be pretty strong at home anyway. Obviously got cards and everything. Really good goalie selection, so that's quite a good result there for Footy Die as well, or David. This is my under 23 Rare Pro. Again, a wee bit of heartbreak. Madsen solid. Matt O'Reilly, great captain choice. Abada, superb. Satalo came off at like 60 odd minutes in the European game and he was expected to start and then he didn't. So that was a wee bit of a risk, but didn't really have many other choices. Kim Jong Hoon with a clean sheet. That's still got AA to add, so hopefully that'll bump me up a wee bit if the Korean games actually get sorted. But here there's some problems obviously with the replays and everything. They're just totally useless over there, aren't they? Anyway, they're sharp before I offend somebody. Unlucky here for David. Great captain choice from Messi, but Atati not starting, which was a surprise, and we'll come back to that. Challenger Europe Rare Pro Bongonda, superb. 3 games in a row he's hit a decisive, so that's really good. And that falls into the cap 240, so David picked him as well, and this team hit the threshold. Just a shame, obviously, never managed to get a good score out of John Suter. Played solid enough, but got the error leading to goal for the old CI to the Kelly Pie result. Say no more in case there are any Rangers fans watching. David still has this one running as well. Again, same goalkeeper, so AA to be added, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Matt O'Reilly, great captain choice. And Harrison Marcelin, hopefully playing in an hour for Gironde and the Bordeaux. Nothing else really that sort of screams out. I did actually make the cap to 40 threshold as well, so that was good. Notwithstanding Awata starting on the bench. So sometimes people will say play sharper and all that sort of stuff, and they think that I'm just making things up or whatever. But I did have these guys in teams as well, so I'm not exactly trying to hoodwink anyone. It's just at the end of the day, they're just predictions. So these teams maybe didn't really do so well. So on to the upcoming game week. So in terms of this one, it's a wee bit more of a difficult game week. So first and foremost, I've asked Big DYSL just to send me in his selections for the limited, and we'll go over them quite quickly. I say quite quickly just because not many goalkeepers and stuff playing midweek. So in terms of All Star Limited, that's pretty close to Big D's selection. I've actually added in Vanaken just because I think that's an outstanding fixture, but I'll double check with him. Obviously, Joey Veerman, really good fixture. Well, Stum Grat's not a really good fixture, but home game. Frank Fabra, home game for Boca. Dennis Boanga really has been, he's kind of hit or miss guy, but when he hits huge. And the Lord Hans Vanaken with quite a weak game against Katie Okereri, which is not easy for me to say, even though I'm more sober. You'll see here Messi shows up. I think that this is wrong. I think that the Inter Miami game will fall into next game week being Friday night in America. So we'll double check that tomorrow, obviously, as well. Cap 240, this is an effort without a goalkeeper. So Matthias Dinelli isn't going to actually play. Again, if the Miami game falls in, might be able to squeak in Drake Callender. Nagadu, probably better at the song Push Pineapple, Shake a Tree than he is at actually scoring over in China, but there we go. Barco, Pavon and John Suter. That's not really a strong effort. As I said, kind of struggling a wee bit more midweek. And the other lineup is Cap 270. This one's looking a wee bit better. So Willis, Zimmerman and Haney. Quite a hard game against America. I mean, if Nashville actually managed to get a clean sheet. Apologies for a slight outage there. Spent the last 5 minutes trying to troubleshoot the camera again. Don't ask me why that keeps happening. It is a good camera. It is good technology. Promise. Anyway, talking about Nashville. Yeah, I mean, Nashville have got quite a tough game against America. If they do keep a clean sheet, they'll have done well, I'm sure. Hani Mukhtar's been a bit quiet. Jefferson Savarino, captain, obviously, for Big D. And John Suter, Rangers playing at home against Servette. Rangers, obviously, bit of a dodgy result against Kilmarnock at the weekend, but plastic pitch, first game of the season. Home game against Servette, I'd expect them, I think, to be more prominent. Not really going in with a lot of confidence, I wouldn't have thought after that, but there we go. So again, only a couple of teams in terms of the actual limited side of things, and that's why I've also split these up. So the original intention was to have, obviously winners for every game week, but probably wouldn't have been too fair. So in terms of own selections, firstly, All-Star, super rare. Nice to actually be able to get somebody in with the Larson unique this week. So he did pretty well last time, but nobody really go with him again. Willis, Zimmerman and Mukhtar. This is more out of necessity, to be honest, because there's not really many sort of other sort of choices there. Under 23 Rep Pro. Again, I'm going through this relatively quickly because Guttelbauer's not playing goalie. So I did say before about preparing for these game weeks and everything, and that's good, but some of them are moving goalposts. Sometimes the games are not covered. Sometimes a team loses. I find it quite hard at the moment. It's a compliment to the gallery as well, because a lot of the guys I've got are actually in the group phases, so I know they're going to be playing later on. So I'm going to take that as a bit of a backhanded compliment. This is a wee bit chucked in. Maher, Adson, Zabalos just coming back in and, hopefully didn't start at the weekend, I don't think, but hopefully back-to-back games might start in Maleka. Quite a good game for Besiktas. Cap 240 rare, I think this has actually got quite a strong chance. So Lanzalotta, the Argentinos goalie, gets sent off. There's rumours of a link away for him, so I bought him, which is obviously still a significant price for a goalkeeper, but bought him kind of a bit of a punt that he might move away. But he's actually going to play this week, I think, because the other goalkeeper got a red card. Morelos Cerquera generally pops up with goals from corners and stuff. He can score quite well too. Szymanski at home against Maribor. I'll come back to that fixture. Brian Aguirre and Matheus Vargas, who's now finally got back into the Shanghai Port team. Cap 270 rare. I need to check this. This is something I really need to check. It's whether Felipe is back after suspension. So he gets sent off. I don't know if it was a 2 or 3 game thing. Again, Willis and Zimmerman. I don't really have many goalkeepers available this midweek, so this is just kind of out of necessity rather than recommending you play these guys. Christian Medina at home and wee Barco as well. Under 23 there, I'm not really going to go into that. It's just completely chucked in. Cap 240 super rare. I bought Elliot Panico. He's the backup to Joe Willis, so I bought him as a sort of long-term hold. Obviously, I've owned a couple of Joe Willis, so if he did get dropped, that's a nice sort of handcuff there. He's a really low cap cost, probably won't play. It'll be Willis, I think. But King Sanwu, Szymanski, Felipe, Jordan Larson, I fancy they could maybe sneak the 250 between them, to be honest. So, you've got to be in it to win it and all that type of stuff. Couple of academy teams in. Cap to 20 rare in as well. But this is my main team, the one I've really got high hopes for. So Rafael at home. Sao Paulo obviously playing at home to Argentinian team, which you call them? San Lorenzo. Um, they're quite tight, San Lorenzo, but also they don't score many goals either. So fingers crossed. He conceded a couple of goals at home the weekend against Mineiro, but it was a free kick from Hulk. That was insane. Maybe he should have saved it, but it was just such a good hit as well. Maybe just took him a bit surprised. AZ have got quite a good fixture, so their Conference League qualifiers actually now come up here. And Sugawara is a guy I really like, so it's good selection. On to Fenerbahce, so they're at home against Maribor. I think there might be potential clash. So if 20 beat Riga, then it would be Fenerbahce against 20, which is a bit of a Sorare showdown. The upcoming Fenerbahce stacks against the existing 20 stacks. Ferdi Kadioglu, obviously a choice between him and Szymanski, but I think Kadioglu is more nailed to play. I think he'll get forward in that game as well. We've seen he scored obviously in the last qualifier at home, so I'm not saying he expect him to score here, but I expect him to get forward. Dusan Tadic, well, what can you say about the guy? I mean, obviously he's been in great form in the qualifiers on all the sets. Expect Fenerbahce to have a lot of pressure on Maribor at home, and Joey Veerman, nice to get Joey back in the mix. So obviously no longer under 23s, but an insanely good scorer. Touchwood, no news of a move away from PSV or anything yet, so hopefully he can stay. And when Rangers probably dispose of Servette, then we might have PSV or Sturm Graz against Rangers or Servette in the next round. So PSV Rangers could be a real big one in terms of qualifiers. So obviously Champions League means a lot of money and everything as well. Before I go into the Celtic debrief, a couple of things happened today. So CF sold Luka Ivanisevic. That wasn't an easy decision, but I just took the decision to actually sell him on the move to Feyenoord. A couple of reasons. I've already got Mats Wee for it, or Y for it, Feyenoord, so don't really need any more mids from there. And Wyfer's under 23, so I decided to keep him. Also, Vanisic's been scoring insanely well, so feels as if maybe he's getting a wee bit peaky in terms of price. I don't know. I mean, obviously with the move, I'm assuming with the fee and everything, he's probably going to play, and I'm sure he'll do very well there, but it could take time to adapt. So I've sold him. Also, I got a random offer in today. Is it this one? No, it's not. Not this one. So I got an offer in this morning for Greg Taylor from Alter Dross. So I actually ended up countering this and I sold him for 0.625. So we'll come back to that in a wee minute in terms of the Celtic stuff. So got a wee bit of balance just now as well, which is good. In terms of the market, obviously we're still at a point where we're waiting on a lot of the new cards to come out, etc. So it can be tempting just to go straight on the market. And if anybody knows me, I'm usually spending my balance within about 5 minutes, etc. But we've got obviously current season cards like Argentina, etc. But a lot of these other cards, are going to lose their bonus in like 2 weeks' time or whatever in September. So I've not really invested anything. But generally speaking, I think if anything, the prices are probably rising a wee bit. Onto the Celtic debrief. So thought it'd be a good idea just to have a wee look at this. As I said, people obviously seem quite interested in Celtic being a prominent stack. First thing to point out, Starfelt looks like he's definitely away. Rodgers confirmed after the game. So one of the better scorers, obviously, up here nearly the top of the all-arounds and everything. So he's going to be moving on. So I'm pretty pleased with that decision, obviously, to move on his super rare. Just wasn't really so much just thinking that he was going to go, but this guy obviously coming in, Norocki, who I'll come back to in a wee minute. So going through the team, Joe Hart, I mean, yeah, he was terrible. He was terrible. Started the game, he nearly brought a guy down. Um, Kind of first goal kind of come out and flapped at it. I thought it was a bit unlucky as well. It's kind of looping header and could easily have been headed off the post, and then goal at the end was a deflection. But he's not really filled me with any confidence just now. Still think he is, with obviously 2 weeks of the window or whatever to go. He's the favourite to start as number one. But if anybody does go and buy him, you've got to remember obviously that the window's still open. He's out of contract next season. There'll probably be some movement in the goalkeeper department at some point. Personally, I'm not selling him just now. I'm in possession of the Celtic goalkeeper just now, and that's important to me, obviously, holding a lot of the team. So I'm just going to keep him for now, and then we'll weigh up the options. Tony Ralston, quite a strong performance in terms of Sorare-wise, obviously. He is quite suitable for the Matrix, and I'd expect he'll start against Aberdeen away from home as well. So actually in Play Sharper, I had the Wata in there, but that was because the Wata had started most of the pre-season there and Ralston was just come back from injury. But there we go. I'm pretty nailed to play next week, I think. Carter Vickers, good to see the big man back. So didn't score overly well, but he looked a wee bit reserved. I don't think he's fully fit yet. Did kind of stroll through the game. Obviously, 47, bearing in mind, 2 goals conceded and all that type of stuff as well. So, good to see him back, and I think there will be better times ahead for him as his fitness improves. Rogers did admit he was a bit behind some of the other players. Mike Norocki, so interesting one. One of the reasons why I'd sold or de-risked from Starfelt. Pretty good all around actually. Obviously came off at 66, so never got the clean sheet either, but looked quite comfortable on both feet. So want to keep an eye out for. I think depending on who we sign now, he'll probably stay in at least for a wee while. But Rogers did say with Starfelt going, Celtic we need another centre half. So I think obviously Norocki doesn't have cards, but Carter Vickers is definitely a sensible buy at the moment. Traditional high scorer. You'll see if we come back up here to the all arounds. He's actually on top of the all around averages at 29. And Celtic have been probably conceding too many goals, so we need to cut that out. But once we get those clean sheets and everything back, a really good SO5 asset. Greg Taylor obviously won the penalty, so that was good. People were wondering why I've sold Celtic's left back and everything. Well, I just think we've still got incoming transfers to come, so we've got money to spend. We're in the Champions League. Rogers mentioned about coming in, taking a bit of time to assess things and moving on from there. Also, I don't think his position was assured if Bernabei had been fit, because he was pretty good going forward in the pre-season, and we'll come back to the midfield, seeing some shocks and stuff in there as well. But Bernabei may well have started this game, I don't know. So from that point of view, I think he's favourite to be Celtic left back just now, but also depends on different games in terms of tactics, because we went a bit more gung-ho in the midfield, and also it depends whether or not Celtic maybe pick up another left back as well. So we'll see what happens from that point of view. Matt O'Reilly, obviously, what can we say about Matt? Absolutely brilliant on all the sets, goal and an assist. Excellent performance all around. Best SO5 performance as well. Kind of what I expected actually, which is easy to say now, but I was hoping for that with him being on all the set plays and everything as well. Callum McGregor, obviously really solid score here. We've got 4 points coming off for the minus goals as well here, so would have been a 70th, would have kept a clean sheet. And David Turnbull, the big surprise. Firstly, he started. Rogers left out Hatate. Secondly, he got the pen as well. So he was taking the penalty and he scored. And he also in this had 2 big chances missed. So obviously a strong SO5 scorer. So I'll come back to the debrief, but I've done something here in terms of a move. So I brought in the David Turnbull super rare. So maybe an ambitious move, I don't know. Maybe not universally liked when I was discussing it with people, but yeah, I mean, he's super rare was selling for 500 quid, okay, but he's still under 23s for a season. He's a known really good SO5 scorer. He's on penalties for Celtic, and Rodgers left out Hatate for him. So what does that say? Even if he just plays the easy home games or whatever, it's still a really good card to have. And I think in my own position, owning like all the Celtic cards is really good for me to have that option. And if it's a mistake, if he doesn't play as much, well, I'm going to have to sit on him, which is a lot of money to have to sit on. But obviously, coming from things I've done in Sorare as well. Leila Bada, um, good performance, good ball in for Furahashi's goal. Came off with a knock. Still pretty confident he'll start against Aberdeen away, but obviously we just need to see if there's any news on that. He's the most likely to start, obviously in connection with that game in terms of form. Played well. Furuhashi really interesting. Obviously goal and an assist, brilliant, really good. Thing that really happened. I mean, obviously this is shown as a 4-3-3, but there was a lot of fluidity to the attacking performance. So, Furuhashi was dropping deep in here towards kind of where McGregor's sort of shown here, and then we had like Turnbull running beyond Furuhashi, maybe O'Reilly as well. We all seen Dyson had quite a quiet game, quite a quiet game in general. And then when Furu came off, he sort of moved through the middle, and again he got a wee bit of AA. So what really the takeaway from this is, firstly, obviously Rodgers left Hatate out, which was a surprise to me. Now we go back to the screen, I traded in a Hatate super rare, so yeah, I wasn't expecting him to be left out. So that's a real interesting one. He did go with a more sort of gung ho approach in terms of two attacking midfielders, Turnbull and O'Reilly. But it was an interesting system because Furuhashi again under Ange was just staying more up top and wasn't getting any AA or whatever, whereas he was dropping in and linking the play, getting key passes, etc. And he's done a 19 AA here, which is a huge improvement. So obviously, if that system persists, and it might not be quite as attacking as this away at Aberdeen, because obviously they're a better team and it's away from home. But if Rodgers persists with this type of system, Celtic are going to score a lot of goals and you're going to get a lot of AA out of guys, in midfield and also up front as well, because it's a really attacking formation. And obviously, Hart, Vickers, and Naroki have suffered for the 2 goals lost. But if Celtic had kept a clean sheet, and I said in one of the posts, if my auntie had balls, she would be my uncle. But if we did, I think we would have been on the verge of people actually complaining about Celtic being overpowered and all that type of stuff. But anyway, we didn't. And yeah, it was still a good SO5 performance and some cards stuff won as well, albeit a wee bit frustrating too. The last thing I want to say, obviously, as we look here at minutes played, goal scorers, top assists, corner takers. So Matt O'Reilly obviously does appear to be the guy who's been nominated to take the set plays. David Turnbull, I would think, is next in line there. So, anytime Matt's not playing or he's not available or he's come off and Turnbull's come on or whatever, Turnbull's going to get some AA from free kicks, and obviously Turnbull took the actual penalty as well. So that was really interesting. Haksabanovic obviously is on here in terms of corners, but he wasn't in the squad, and actually there's some talk that he might just leave as well. So there's going to be lots of developments in the transfer window, I think, as well. So that's us, I think, for now. As I said, there's loads happening. We've got midweek, and then we've got a huge game week coming up. Also, we've got a wee podcast planned on Thursday night, hopefully getting Quinny and Hendo together on the McBride's channel. Do that by Zoom and get that up before the weekend as well. So I'm looking forward to getting a catch up with the boys. It's been too long in terms of doing that. And it was great to actually get into Quinny's studio on Saturday as well. What a setup. Magic, just pure football, screens everywhere, stats, football, the streaming setup. Unbelievable. It was great. Whilst I could remember it. Anyway, it was good fun. I enjoyed catching up with Quinny as well. So that's us for now. Good luck everyone in the the midweek game week, and then we've got a huge weekend coming up. Best of luck if you've won any rewards as well. I'll see you all soon.